Huh?
And welcome aboard for Press Box Live. And I'm Stan the Fan Charles of Pressbox and PressBoxOnline.com. Orioles have the night off. There's a big football game that starts at 8:20, and it'll be on ESPN television. And I think WBAL TV in Baltimore has it, but I'll probably watch it on ESPN. You can see my co-host Ross Grimsley, tanned, rested, and ready for another episode of Press Box Live. And up above is Scott McGregor, former Orioles left-hander. We're going to talk about the state of pitching in just a minute right now, because I think all three of us might agree on some of the finer points of what's going on with pitching right now. Got to tell you, though, that Press Box Live is brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. And I always like to point out that each Monday and Wednesday when I do these Zooms and do this live read for C3 American Exteriors, that if you own a home, there will be no more expensive piece of business you have to do to take care of your home than fixing or replacing a roof. If I were in that mode, thank goodness I'm not right now, but if I were, boxes I want checked off. I want to kind of know the people, I want to like the people, and I want to trust the people. And all three of those boxes get checked off with my friends at C3 American Exteriors. Go to their website, c3america.com, to get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. And I know one of the owners of the company very well, very honorable guy. They stand behind their work, and they'll make sure you're pleased. All right, without further ado, Ross Grimsley joins us. And Ross, you know a little bit about our guests, so why don't you introduce
Yes, I
them this
do.
week?
Well, none other than Scotty McGregor. What else can we say? That's enough right there. Scotty, welcome. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Oh, my pleasure. Looking
I know
forward to
you.
guys.
Looks like you're out in the forest there. I know exactly where you're at.
Yeah, I came down here to your stomping grounds, and
Yes.
Chris is out here. Chris is my producer. He's gonna,
Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent. Well, I'm sure you guys got some goodies to drink and eat. So have a great time.
yeah.
Hey, Scott, I thought we'd start with, we're in the middle of September, and we knew this going into the season back like last April and May. We were warning about it, but all over the game right now, it's tough to find. I mean, you got your Max Scherzer is pitching at the top of his game, and you got a couple of White Sox starters are pitching really good, and they're scattered throughout. But a lot of pitchers that have gone from maybe 50 innings last year up to 130, 140, they are really, to use that vernacular, running on fumes right now, aren't they?
Well, it seems to be that way. It's kind of hard to shift gears from back in the day where you'd pitch 250 innings, but I know they made a huge thing about it. I think some of it was overkill. I know that's all we heard. Oh my gosh, only, minor league guys didn't get there. If you're any good, you find a way to make it, and I'm sure you get tired, but, that's one thing that, Flanny and I used to talk about when we had to run our 20 foul lines. It's all in your head. Your legs aren't
Right.
telling you they're tired. It's up here that's telling you you're tired. So he would say, let's go to the Bahamas in our mind, and I think sometimes these guys need to stand out there on the mound and take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm just throwing a bullpen. I can do it. I might not be throwing 95 today, but 93 is all right, as long as I can command it and stay confident up here. I think the game is mental, and the physical part is getting too much publicity.
I know for a number of years, one of the things you did with the ball club would be you'd be down in Sarasota, and when they had pitchers coming back from injuries, you'd work with them.
Yeah.
Is this similar to coming back from an injury where you missed a lot of time, or is it totally different in the rebuild?
Well, once they got out of the trainer's room, yeah, it's pretty much similar. You start spring training and you get them ready, and if they had a little tweak or something bad, the trainers would get everything strengthened up around them, and they'd come out feeling great, and they usually come back up here and do really well, so it gives them a respite. I remember what was it, 83, when Tippy had his appendicitis and they stuck him in the hospital for a while. He missed like 3 or 4 weeks, and it
Yep.
got strong the rest of the way, so it's just my main point's always, this game is so mental, and if you let that thing get in your ear any way at all, it's going to affect you.
Scotty, did you never thought about being tired?
Yeah.
Even, I mean, the temperature's 100 degrees, and in Baltimore, the humidity was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as much conditioning as we did, actually running on the field, supporting your own weight, and we ran a lot. And you never had an opportunity to think about being tired because you're concentrating on the job you had at that particular time. So that was something that never even entered into the equation as far as I was concerned.
Definitely. We were, and plus, thank God we were always in the pennant race,
Right.
So that fueled you. And once it got to September and it starts cooling down, that was the best part. I think always, in our season, we'd always have like a West Coast trip in the last part of August. So we go out there for 10 days, then we come back here. Temperature would cool down, give you a breath of fresh air. But, July, what was it? The dog days? They said that's where you make your money. If you get through those days, you're going to be all right.
Ross?
Oh, Scotty, and getting to the Orioles now. And one of the things I might have asked you this before, I'm not really sure. Is there? I know when when Rabbit was there and Bamberger was a pitching coach, they had a philosophy usually of pitching. With Rabbit, he was a guy that worked quick, throw strikes, change speeds. Bamberger, get them out with 3 pitches or less, whatever you could do. Do the Orioles have a pitching philosophy? Does Holt have anything that he tries to really stand out to the pitchers in the organization and in the big leagues?
I was just down in Durham the other day, and Tide were down there. Spent the evening with Gary Kendall, which was always exciting, and Kenny Steenstra, who's a AAA pitching coach, and he said basically, the kids say Holt's main thing is he comes out to the mound, throw your best pitch, fastball up, and a breaking ball down with sweep. And I've seen it down in spring training, watching bullpens, and that was the main thing. Your best fastball at the top of the zone, pitch up, and a breaking ball, a left-hander to a right-hander with depth, to a left-hander with sweep. So he wanted that's his thing. I don't know that he had anything out that I'd ever heard any different. So
right.
Hey,
Yeah, that's you kind of scratch your head. I mean, if they take and the ball's up, it's ball one. That's one of the big problems that they've had here.
Yeah.
When you throw your best breaking ball, good chance it ain't going to be a strike. It's going to be a chase pitch.
Yeah.
And now you're in the hole, and you look at, especially the Orioles. I was looking today. I think I was looking yesterday as well. They get ahead in the count. The hitters hit, I think, $180. They're behind in the count. Obviously, I mean that's been the same way for 100 years.
All throughout the game, yeah.
100 years, and just get ahead with quality pitches. If you get ahead, try to make them chase it. If you're 1-1, get another strike quick.
Yes.
It's pretty simple. But when you start trying to get everybody to swing and miss, you overthrow. You throw that breaking ball from hell. It's usually not. It's good if you got 2 strikes and they have to protect the plate, but that's something that I see more and more of, and that's why I asked you about what was the philosophy of pitching with the Orioles.
I don't know. It's, to me, the game has gotten way too complicated.
Right.
The kids have got way too much to think about. Instead of just going out there, take a deep breath, throw a pitch. Well, I used to always tell the guys, throw a pitch and gather information.
Yeah.
Well, now they got to pull their hat off to gather information. They've got everybody's got a card.
Scotty, what are they looking at? I mean, does that tell you what is that saying? I mean, because it would have to be a plethora of. You have to have a book in there. Well, it's Tuesday. This guy's got to strike one. I mean, do they pitch everybody the same? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what they're looking at all the time. I know the signs are a big thing. The other day, the Jay, and Hyde got into it because he
Yeah.
said guys were stealing signs. The guy gave up 2 home runs, so somebody must be,
Yeah, right.
But I think when they look in there, it says help.
Hey, what am I doing?
Hey, Scotty, 2 pitchers this year that if you looked at their pure stat line of ERA and WHIP and wins and losses, you wouldn't say next year, boy, if Matt Harvey and Jorge Lopez aren't here next year, no big loss. But have you seen enough of them? And I'm asking about Matt Harvey's attempt to try and learn how to pitch and Jorge Lopez's move to the bullpen, which we only got to see 3 or 4 times. But are both of those stories intriguing enough that you think you'd like to see them again next year?
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, unless something else comes along, I know that we got all these guys in the minor leagues, but, Bauman came up. He did good. He's 1 for 2,
Yep.
And Grayson Rodriguez, I love him. DL Hall's already had surgery. So it's not easy to find people. And I said, If you're with the Orioles, you got a heck of a chance to prove yourself. And Harvey at times looks great. I mean, most of the time he's giving you 5 innings, but dang, we're so used to saying that, 5 innings.
So I've got a question for you about Harvey. I always saw Scott McGregor as a finesse pitcher. You had the great changeup and you worked on change of speeds. But I heard back in high school, you really had the goods in terms of a fastball. Is that correct?
Well, it's a fastball curveball, and I could pitch in.
Did you get injured? Did that force you to have to learn how to pitch?
No, that was the little guy, Earl Weaver, that did that to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you learned it at the big league level. Can you relate? Can you relate to what Matt Harvey's trying to do now?
Well, yeah, because I don't know, Ross, I had 700 innings in the minor leagues before I got to the big leagues. How many do you have? You got there quick.
I got there quick, yeah. But I mean, I kind of had a head start, being around my dad and being around, baseball ever since I was 4 years old. So I kind of had a head start, which really helped.
Yeah, I had 700 innings, and back in the day, Clyde Klutz, I signed with the Yankees, and Clyde Klutz was the minor league guy, and he told me, you got 4 years. 4 years. I don't care how good you are. And 3 of my last 4 years, I was pitcher of the year, and
right.
And then they traded me, so shows you how that is. But once you got here, you knew the game as much as you could know it. But once you get here, is when you really learn how to pitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Up here, you really learn how to do that. Now, when Dark Knight came up, he threw the ball so hard and he had great stuff. He just blew people away. But that's not going to last, And so, yeah, he's learning how to pitch, and he's using his pitches, his slider and changeup. And I don't know. They seems like they're trained to throw 5 innings, and God bless them after that.
Yeah,
right.
That's about it. And how about Lopez? The change to the bullpen, I saw like a different mindset. He looked much more relaxed and comfortable out there.
Well, that happens. You always want to, the whole rule of thumb was you take your best arms in the minor leagues and you make them starters and you see what happens. Some of them are good 1 time through, some are good 2 times through, some can go 3 times through. And the guys that can only go 1 time, you stick them in the bullpen. And Jimmy Johnson, I mean, he threw 89, 91 with me in Double-A and that, and he won a bunch of games. But all of a sudden, Dave Schmidt worked with him down in Instructs or somewhere and lengthened his stride out, and all of a sudden he's throwing 98 miles an hour with a sinker from hell, and they put him at the end of and he saved 100 games in 2 years. So you never know where that guy is.
Yeah.
And if that's where if he's one of those guys that's better when the phone rings, hey, Jorge, get up. Oh, great. But give him 4 days and oh my God, and
that's exactly right. It's like a deer in the headlights when the game starts, whereas he comes in the 7th inning, it's just pitch and catch then.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one thing more about the lack of a season last year. And I have your your take on that, but I wanted to know, do you think it's equally as hard on the relief pitchers who might have thrown 20, 25 innings last year over 60 days to have had to go through a 6-month season again, the up and downs in the bullpen?
Well, I think it would be easier on them because really when they come out of spring training, they got 1 inning stints, maybe 2 inning stints, and I don't know how many, maybe 10 innings in spring training or something like that. So they're used to that. I think that it would be easier on them. The starters, heck, even the starters come out of spring training only ready for 5 innings.
Right. Right.
It's
The other thing, the bullpen we're talking about on today's Oriole team, they get used a lot more than the bullpen when you guys were at your highest.
I mean, we had 50 complete games between the 5 of us.
Right.
So that means the bullpen's in 152, and then most of them that we went 7 or 8, so they're just coming in. And if you get knocked out early, Sammy or Tippy or someone would just finish the game.
Right.
It was, but that's what it was, and it's not that way anymore. But goes back to that thing I said earlier. That's a pandemic in the whole league anymore. Bullpens, God bless you. You only last, like Buck Schultz, they said, he goes, you got to roll them over every 3 years if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And we might need to roll them up. No.
Yeah. Hey, Scotty, tell us, you got, Hunter Harvey's hurt again. Dean Kramer is not the same guy that he was last year. Fry, Scott, tell us a little bit about those guys, what you see and what you think the problem could be.
Well, Hunter Harvey's just, I just saw him down there in Durham, and my God, he looks great. He's a great looking athlete, but I don't know. Dave Walker and I were talking about it before I got let go. Just, said some guys are soft tissue guys, and, he's got a very max effort delivery,
Right.
the real twist at the end. I guess he would probably just need to maybe settle that down a little bit and see what happens, because I don't know where his value is right now.
You think he can do that? Is he able to make that adjustment?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Once again,
That's a really tough one because
he's been around for a while, and I love the kid. I had him and Dylan Bundy.
Yep.
Same thing. I had him down there for years. I put him on my tax list. So
Yeah.
they,
What about Kramer? What about Kramer?
I don't know Kramer that well. I saw he pitched the other day, and you know what? Ross, we were lucky when back in the day when you came up, you stayed up.
Yeah.
I used to be mad because they didn't call me up until I got coaching and see what happened. Remember, Hayden Penn was what I would have been back then. He was in double, 20 years old, tearing it up. They brought him up. He had 4 or 5 good starts, sent him back down. He was never the same. It's just like, wait a minute, I was doing good in the big leagues. Why do I have to go back down here? And it fried his brain, so it's not an easy thing to go from the big leagues back down to AAA, and heck, the conditions in AAA are a lot better than they were when we played.
Oh yeah.
But still, it's not the same. And I think, the up and downs, and I don't know. And
you mentioned the name of Dylan Bundy, and I'll throw another name at you, and that's Kevin Gosman. And we've talked to Dan Duquette, and Dan says it's probably the biggest frustration he had in his tenure in Baltimore was not the ability to develop their starting pitching. I always maintained, I know Bundy, part of it was the contract his agent signed, forced his way up to the majors at a certain point. But with Gosman, didn't have that kind of contract. But it seemed like because they didn't have better pitching, they said, Gosman's got to be up. And they kept yo-yoing him down, up and down and up and down. And they never sort of, don't take it the wrong way, they never forced him to earn the graduation.
Well, that's the name of the game nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Dylan signed a major league contract. I think he was the last one that they let do that. And but I don't know. You have opportunities. they have a lot more opportunities nowadays than we ever had. Because back in the day, if I didn't make the team in spring training, let's see you next February. You're not coming up during the year. We pick the 25 we like, work on it. So it's and Gosman, I don't know who all hears this, but we overcoach the heck out of these kids.
Yeah.
And the people that were there are now, I used to sit there and watch their bullpens. Every time they throw a bullpen, they had them doing something different. I said, God damn, leave them alone, would you?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, that's one of the things we talked to Shane Turner, who's with the Giants. And that was one of the questions I asked him. What's Gosman doing? I said, they let him go out and do what he does. And like you said, and I heard that before, they had him trying this, doing that, throw here, don't throw that, throw this, and they just let him do. And, obviously pitching in Candlestick, but San Francisco, big park. Even though
is it AT&T?
It's close enough. Whatever, I don't know, Pac-Man or Pac-Bell, or they change it every year to get that extra. Like they need more money, out there. But hey,
well,
Scotty,
they got to pay Shane Turner's big salary.
No, you know it. Scotty, one of the things, we were talking about guys getting an opportunity to come up, and you look at some of the guys that have got an opportunity with the Orioles, the young guys, and I looked at some of the numbers, and some of these guys, Bauman's a perfect example. He AA and AAA. I mean, he had 65 innings. He had about let me see. He had 78 runners on in AA, and already got a call up. There's several of the guys that got called up with numbers that normally wouldn't get you called up. And that is a perfect. I mean, that says that maybe they didn't have enough 4A guys and plan on what was going to happen to bring some guys up that could spell these other players.
Well, I think the mindset that they're in now is as bad as the team or the pitching has showed itself. They're almost forced to bring up because all the talk in the papers is about the minor leagues. They don't talk.
That's it, because that's a problem. I think maybe Mike
is forced to show some of his cards before he wants to, because people are saying, "Hey, I don't care. Bring Roshman up here. Bring these guys up here. Bring them up here. Somebody's got to, somebody help us. But
that'd be a problem right there for a few folks."
Hey, Ross, I was just looked it up on my phone. It's Oracle Park is the name of the
Giants. Oracle, okay.
I think it's its third name in.
Yeah, right. Well, I just keep cashing in.
Keep cashing it in. Hey, we're talking to Scotty McGregor here on Press Box Live. Raven game tonight starts at 8:20 is kickoff time. Game will be on ESPN, and I believe WBAL TV will have that as well. Are you much of a Ravens fan, Scotty, before we get back to baseball?
Yeah, I'm down here on the deck with my neighbor where Ross has been, and we got all set up for tonight.
All right.
We got our fantasy football league. It's the first time I've ever been in one, so I have no idea what I was doing. But.
Great time. Hey, Stan, are you taking the points or giving points?
I took the Ravens and gave the points tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd
you do? You took the points. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Scotty, the question of Dylan Bundy. Okay. Now I know you haven't really seen him or talked to him probably in a couple of years, but he had a great year last year with the pitching coach who was fired as the Mets manager. I can't think of his name right now. Callaway, Mickey Callaway. And I had the sense that they were really simpatico and that Callaway had a real positive impact on Dylan Bundy. And then you get the situation with the sexual activities that he was involved in, and he gets suspended and he gets let go. What can that do to a pitcher who's come to grow dependent upon that advice he's getting?
I think that goes to each and every guy, because that's one thing I used to tell the guys when I was coaching them. You know, they all would say, "Hey, you really like you," and I don't know. I said, "Hey, you got to learn to be your own pitcher. You got to learn to be your own coach. You got to learn. If you're standing in Yankee Stadium with 53,000 people calling you names, you can't be looking for a Rapsodo camera or a pitching coach. You have to learn how to pitch, and you have to learn how to do it yourself. And you got to learn what you do. I can't tell you how many times I've told these guys in the years I was there, even with all this stuff recently, I go, "Hey, you know how to pitch? Yeah, well then go do it." You know, if you get people out all the time, they're going to like you. I don't care what your spin rate, you know,
really,
what you do, but they're so spoon fed coming right out of college and everything else. I mean, my first year coaching, we signed Hubel and Fahey out of Texas. They won the NCAA back in 01 or 02. And Hubel was the catcher. And so the first game he came to me right before the start of the game, after the national anthem, he starts to run out. He turns to me and goes, "Hey, what's your sign?" I go, "Oh, I'm a Capricorn. What are you?" I go, "I ain't calling no pitches." He looked at me like, "Huh?" I go, but I said, "I'll be there. I'll be right there. I'm watching. If you get stuck, look over. I'll give you a pitch. But don't be looking over here very often."
Yeah, right.
Do this. You got to learn. And I told the pitchers that too. I go, you got to, you know, we give you information. Ross and I were pitching coach. We give you information, but we're not always right. We don't always know what we're doing. But you got to we just try and simplify things and learn how to stand on that mound and know where your hand is. Jim Palmer used to say, "Know where your hand is." You know, it's okay. It's right here. You know, but throw the ball. You know, and you got to learn to do it yourself. And if you don't, and Dylan, I think, was pretty good about that. I didn't see when he started against us here. I was out doing something and he was out of the game. And
he looked awful. I've never seen a pitcher physically look that uncomfortable in hot weather. He's like sweating profusely. He just looks like he wants to be anywhere else.
He's battled his shoulder forever. And I called Rock because I missed it. I go, "What happened?" He goes, "Mackey was terrible. He's throwing 83. I said, "What's wrong with that?"
Right.
Yeah, stop it.
But, yeah, he's done a great job, and he's a good kid. And so,
hey, you watched Buck Showalter up close for a number of years here in Baltimore, a decade, I guess. There aren't many managers that get 5 opportunities. He's managed the Yankees, Arizona, Texas, and the Orioles. Am I missing anybody?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So he's gotten 4 opportunities. Four opportunities. I know he wants another opportunity. Do you see him as a fit for either of the New York teams who had been very disappointing for most of the season?
Well, yeah, I think Buck can handle it. You know, he's strong in his ways, and he's not afraid to. He can deal with the media like Earl did, you know. And I hear all the rumors. One of those two up there maybe might get him, you know. So
yeah,
I'm sure
it's going to be interesting. I could see them both bidding for him for the Yankees and
the Yankees. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to Henneman about it the other night. He might write something on it. And he was saying that the Yankees are old school enough that they're not heavily analytic driven like some of the other teams are that wouldn't give him a second glance, you know.
Yeah. He has the ability to step outside the box of the analytic world and manage a game still.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's not going to be the guy that you're going to call down and give him his lineup.
No, there's no question about that. And Brian Cashman and Sandy Alderson kind of know that. So it'll be interesting to see if it, and I would imagine, I know he's his own man, but you got the San Diego Padres who have a Gundo payroll, and they got this guy Jace Tingler managing, and they're about 6 games over 500. They got Machado, Wayne Kirby, Bobby Dickerson.
They got his whole staff out there.
He's got his whole staff ready to go. So I think he reappears in 2022.
Yeah, I think number 26 will be back.
Yeah. All right. Ross, you got another one or two for
Yeah,
Scotty
hey,
before we let him
Scotty,
go?
is this rebuild with the Orioles going the way you expected? Are you expected more or less, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, as of right now, I think everybody's starting to expect more.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to. I mean, the offensive guys, they're doing their job, and they have their moments. But heck,
yeah,
about that today. I mean, we pretty much had a 3 ERA, as a pitching staff, and we had 5-6 runs a game. So as long as we did our job, we won ball games. If we can solidify the bullpen, I mean, that would be the biggest area I would attack. Starters, you throw them in there, you can get 5 innings out of somebody. But if you can find a bullpen that's going to hold those games, recently we've been in a lot of ball games that we should win. And they're a fun team to watch play.
They're playing hard. They're playing hard.
Sure.
And they just it's deflating for them to be 3 outs away from a no-hitter and end up losing 11-2.
44 runs in 3 games. That's I mean, that's got to be really tough.
We did that with my 77.
Yeah, I remember that.
78. We went up to Milwaukee and started out, and we gave up 44 runs in 3 games.
Yeah.
We tried to kill Eddie. They put him at third base for 1 game. Too many bullets flying by him. It's a. I don't care what generation you're in. There's a thing called chemistry, and if you don't have chemistry, and it's a monster, and guys have to be able to play 6 months. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me ask you this question. There's more home runs hit at Camden Yards than anywhere. I think they've given up 250 home runs there. The closest team second is Wrigley Field at 221.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like that has to affect, especially these young pitchers, knowing that you can jam a guy and it's going to go out or off the end of the bat.
Well, that's why you go back to the old thing is you can't walk them.
Exactly. No, that's true.
Over the plate. You got to throw it over the plate, trust me. Get a base hit a solo, but the 3, the cheap runs, and I know you're going to walk some people. Hell, that happens. But
Sure.
Strike 1, strike 2, like you said, I signed in 72 out of high school. My first spring, I'm 19 in Lauderdale, throwing a bullpen because they want to see me throw. And here comes Whitey Ford standing next to me.
Yeah.
Whitey Ford's over here. Mickey Mantle standing over here, and I'm throwing to Elston Howard. I'm going, what the hell? So Whitey stopped me. He goes, oh, you look pretty good. And he goes, I'm going to tell you one thing. What's that? 3 pitches, and that's it. Get him out 3 pitches. If you throw 50 pitches in an inning, you're working too hard. And that's not the way of the game anymore.
No, it's not. You're right.
Power throwing, throw to that high echelon up here, boom, boom, boom. And I watch Aiken. Aiken loves to pitch in, but Palmer said, hey, pitch in early because later in the game when you get a little tired, you don't get it in there, and boom, there goes your no-hitter, and here comes 11.
Right. Runs.
And so how to handle a game, that's what Jimmy was the greatest at teaching us about, is how to work through 9 innings and how to
right. Man, your 3rd, 4th time around, what you do early, what you do late. I mean, it's they don't have that information to pass to the pitchers.
They don't want
plus they don't learn in the minor leagues. I mean, Rodriguez is. I mean, they those 3 innings. I mean, that's not crap. I mean, how's a kid going to learn to pitch? I mean, they put a pitch limit, they put a innings limit. And still, there's more people hurt now than ever before. Injuries you never heard of that are happening. So you just kind of scratch your head, and no one says anything about it. No one talks about all the injuries. They just kind of bypass it. We'll get another Tom Thumb over here to come in throwing 500 miles an hour, and we'll just get another guy to come in. You don't have to throw strikes; just come on in. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. Well. We can rant and rave about it all we want.
Hey,
No,
Scott,
I know. Ain't changing.
hey, Scotty, I know you watch the Oriole games. Do you watch many of the other teams?
I just watch the Orioles.
Okay. I was going to ask you a
Yeah,
question
I look
about,
at the box scores, and I look for all of our guys. I see how Gosman does, and Bundy, and
right.
Dope, and O'Day, and Brock. I'll look through all the things, and Machado, and yeah, I'll look through there and just see how they're doing. And the ones that I have a phone number for, I'll text them and say, "Hey, nice job." You know,
Hey,
or
the last one I've got for you tonight is all during your career, whenever you would pitch on and you'd be on TV, the announcer invariably talked about you were a childhood buddy of George Brett's. Are you still buddies with Brett? Do you talk to him once in a while, or was that more like it just made for good chatter, that you were friends with him?
most of my career probably just made for good story because George was not very good at that. We'd always say, "Hey, let's go out after the game." But if he lost, he would blow me off. I go, "Come on, man! I don't care if you win or lose." But recently we've been talking because this is the 50th anniversary of when we won the state championship.
Okay.
In California. So in October, we're heading out there pretty soon to have a reunion. So I'll get to see him out there and stop in Kansas City on the way back and probably see him and Boddicker.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great. That's really
Talked
great.
to Boddicker the other night.
Yeah.
He's having his bourbon thing for his foundation. It's the 22nd. So we talked to him for a little bit. He was I told him give me a call when he has it. So
Yeah,
you give me a call. It's like I said, it's live the 22nd. They got a lot of memorabilia from Kansas City, the Chiefs and what have you. So
All right.
Hey,
Hey, Scott. Hey,
Ross,
Scotty,
Ross,
go ahead.
friends that want to say hi.
put them on.
What's up, Ross?
Hey, how
What's
you
up,
doing?
guys?
Yeah,
How you
Miss you
doing?
guys.
get behind it.
Great to see you.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you too, Stan. Big fan. Been watching you for years.
All right, thank you.
There you
Well,
go.
we know, hey Ross, we know our audience just expanded by 2 people.
Absolutely.
Hey, Scotty, we appreciate you jumping on with us to do Press Box Live again. Really appreciate it. There will be no show this Wednesday evening because of the Jewish holiday, Yom Kippur. But next week, 2 special shows. Ross has lined up the Spaceman,
Oh,
Bill
yeah.
Lee next Monday,
Hi, Lord.
and then Gary Stein and I guess Scotty knows the Spaceman.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Oh, yeah. And he is out in space. And then Wednesday night next week, not new, brand new, but the newer general manager of the Washington Wizards, Tommy Shepard, will be our guest. So a lot of good stuff coming up on the Zooms. And they are brought to you by C3 American Exteriors. Go to their website at c3america.com to get a brand new roof for just the cost of your insurance deductible. Again, 3 boxes I want checked. If you need a roof, you got to like the people, trust the people, and you got to know the people. And they'll stand behind what they say they're going to do. I know the people that own C3 American Exteriors, and that's good enough for me. I've checked all 3 boxes. For Scott McGregor, Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan Charles, and let's go Ravens tonight. See you later. Bye.